From a distance, this may look like just another construction project, but come close. Here at the Ascent apartment building, you can see and feel a revolution in the making.
What makes this building different?
It's a mass timber building, and it's built out of wood instead of a traditional post-tension concrete structure that would be used for an apartment building.
Move over steel and concrete, mass timber is a new type of construction product that advocates say could fight climate change. Manufacturers take pieces of wood, typically spruce and pine, and glue them together to make massive beams, columns, and decking, similar to steel and concrete in strength with a smaller carbon footprint. Mercer International is one of the manufacturers in the U.S.
We're looking at about a 25% growth rate. And you know, as the world moves to decarbonize, we believe that growth rate will not only stay at those levels, but potentially accelerate.
That's why Tim Gochman thinks this building in Milwaukee offers a blueprint for success.
Do you give up something when you build a building out of mass timber?
This is why I think that mass timber is the technology of the future. There are no trade-offs, right? It can go to height, it is faster, it is more precise, it's lighter, it's more beautiful.
Just how high can these wood buildings go? This one is 284 feet, 25 stories high. And when it is finished, it will be the tallest building of its kind in the world. Here, 50% of the wood will be exposed.
So people respond to natural elements in their homes.
We know they do, right? People feel better, they perform better.
Better for people and better for the environment, says architect Michael Green, one of mass timber's first evangelists.
Small growth trees.
When I started talking about this, people thought I was crazy and it would never happen. And maybe I was, but in a short 10 years, it's gone from being a very unique idea to being mainstream in many countries around the world.
First popularized in Europe, Green brought the trend to North America, designing this mass timber building in Spokane, Washington, and now working on a timber project for Google.
Steel and concrete are incredible materials that have built the skylines of, every city on Earth, but they also have a really high carbon footprint. Building these wood buildings basically allows us to capture carbon in the building.
Reducing a building's carbon footprint even when the timber is imported from Austria, like the sustainably sourced wood for the Ascent.
Building Ascent with mass timber versus post-tension concrete is the equivalent of taking 2,400 cars off the road for a year.
A 2021 study found mass timber buildings could reduce a building's carbon emissions 22 to 50% compared to concrete. But some environmentalists are skeptical.
There is a reality in which mass timber could be compatible with a climate-safe future, but we are not there yet. And
forestry expert Jennifer Skeen of the Natural Resources Defense Council says more transparency is needed about the timber used and the impact cutting it down has on the environment.
If mass timber drives the clear cutting of primary and older forests, we're simply going to be substituting one type of high carbon building material for another.
Mercer International says it's doing it the right way.
Generally speaking, the wood that we use in our factory comes from an area surrounding the factory, which is Washington State, Idaho, Montana, British Columbia, and Alberta. Every tree that's removed, there's a tree that is growing in its place. We ensure through certifications, internationally recognized certifications, that the wood that we do bring into this factory is sustainably harvested.
There are potential economic benefits as well. Because each piece of mass timber is pre-cut and assembled like Legos, it requires less labor. And yes, it meets fire codes.
Their very robust scale allows them to be very fire resistant, and we have to build them to be every bit as fire resistant and safe as any concrete building or any steel building to meet the building code.
With less impact on the planet.
It's not an end of the game, it's the beginning of the game of solving climate.
One beam at a time. Anne Thompson, NBC News, Milwaukee.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.